Okay, here we go. Here we go. I'm back with one of my favorite guests of all time. Super fascinating gentleman sitting in front of us today. I can't wait to get into this conversation because so much of what he specializes in, has done for the majority of his career, is actually taking place in real time in the good old US of A. Please welcome back to Vlad TV, Hector Berrellez. Hector, what's up, brother?
How you been, man? You look great.
Thank you. You look great as well, man. You look great as well. And I'm going to tell you, as soon as I saw you, I'm like, yo, I'm so excited to get into this interview. You put a big smile on my face just walking in the door. So I'm happy to see you. Okay, let's get into it. Hector, I've sat down with you several times now. And the last time I sat with you, we spoke about then a Donald Trump who was looking to get back into office for a second term. He has since become the president of the United States again. And I asked you a very specific question. I said, what do you think about Trump's effectiveness on the border issue? And you said you thought he did pretty good in his first term. So I want to start there. What do you think about this administration and their effectiveness in policies concerning that border?
I think that he has been very effective. He is determined to basically get all these criminals that were let in during the last administration. A lot of them come here not to work, not seeking really a better life. They come here to commit crimes. A lot of them are rapists. A lot of them are murderers. A lot of them are people that were in mental asylums in other countries. Enemy countries of ours, the likes of Venezuela and Cuba, have released all these criminals upon us. And I commend Donald Trump and his administration for taking the aggressive action that they've taken to get all these criminals out of here.
I look at the news just like you do. And when I hear strong language, as you just spoke, many times we could take that as political talking points. We can talk it. We can take it as the far right, and they want to make America great again. But coming from your lips, I take it a whole different way. You were very specific just now in saying that it is the criminals that have been let into our country, and it's the criminals that are being kicked out. Whereas if you listen to the other side, it's spun a whole different direction. So based on your expertise, you really feel that the borders were open to criminals just marching in and being protected by the last administration?
Absolutely. Not only criminals, also spies, terrorists have come in. It's not a matter if they're going to attack us. It's a matter of when they're going to attack us. They're here already. And we must realize that not everybody is a friend of the United States. Not everybody loves us. There are enemies out there. The Chinese, for instance, have waged a silent war against us by inundating our country with fentanyl, which kills hundreds of thousands of people every year. Almost 70,000 people died last year of fentanyl overdoses. So not only, as I stated before, has this country been invaded by murderers, rapists, and bad people. Also, countries have taken advantage of us, like China, and they're trying to kill us. And that's why they've introduced and worked with the Mexican cartels to send this deadly, lethal, poisonous fentanyl into our streets, into our country.
You know, I want to go backwards for a second because you made a specific point to talk about the last administration and how they dealt with border issues. Do you truly believe that they were just too soft on this border crisis?
No, I don't believe they were too soft. I believe that they they wanted this. They want to bring in all these illegals. They wanted the illegals so that they could stay in power, so that they could vote for them. That's what I believe. There's got to be a reason that makes sense as to why they're letting all these people into this country without being vetted, not knowing who they are. That is wrong. And I believe because of political reasons, because people want to stay in power, this is why they've let all these people come in, not thinking of protecting its U.S. citizens. And I might remind you, Shawn, that it is the responsibility of every government in any country to protect its citizens. The priority of any government official and any government should be to protect its citizens. And they would left us without protection by letting all these people into our country unvetted.
Wow. Wow. You know, ICE, they announced that in the first 100 days of the Trump administration for a second term, they've arrested over 66,000 illegal aliens and removed over 65,000 of them. They claim that 3 in 4 arrests that were made by them, these illegal aliens were criminals. That is a staggering statistic to say that literally in 3 of the 4 arrests, these illegal aliens had criminal records. Do you believe that to be true, or is that just trumped up numbers?
No, that has to be true. Because if it wasn't true, the opposition would basically bring up the facts and say, that's not true. The fact is, these people have extensive criminal records. They are hardcore, criminals. And yes, we want to be humanitarian. We want to be nice. We want to be, good to people. But when it comes to dealing with these hardcore criminals, you can't be kind and good to these people. We must consider the protection of our citizens. Look at the women that have been murdered and raped. Look at the children that have been smuggled in, 85,000 or so of them. We don't even know where they're at. A lot of them become slaves, sex slaves, excuse me. A lot of these kids, their organs are being sold to people that can afford to buy their organs because they have a family member that needs a child, maybe that needs an organ. All of this is going on, and the cartels, they're profiting from it. They're running, prostitute rings, child sex rings, all kinds of crimes in our country. We're not just affected by the cartels because they're outside of our country importing drugs. They're operating also in our countries, within our country. And that's why the crime rate is out of control.
So you believe that in addition to these cartels bringing drugs into the country, they are organized and they're set up operating criminal rings right here in the country?
Absolutely. For instance, a lot of these legal marijuana dispensaries, a lot of them are owned by the cartel guys. What they do is they get citizens from this country to work with them. They get the citizens of this country, get the legal permits that they need to open up, let's say, a marijuana dispensary, and they actually own it. They'll give like 30% of the person whose name they're using, but they own a lot of these dispensaries in this country. They're also growing marijuana in this country. They get people that can legally grow it. They pay them, and they grow marijuana in this country. and then they actually bring the marijuana into their dispensaries. They own a lot of these marijuana dispensaries in the United States.
Do you think that the government knows that this exists? Obviously, you know it exists. So I got to believe that the government itself knows it exists. And if the government does know it exists, what are they doing about it?
Well, when they find out about it, obviously, yeah, they will take enforcement action. They will, arrest him and shut him down. But there's so much of it going on that they can't stay up with it. It is out of control.
Wow. There's always going to be the other side. And in this border issue, in ICE really being ramped up and given these expanded enforcement tactics, the critics are saying, hey, you guys are not just targeting illegals that have criminal records. You're also arresting non-criminals. And you're doing it under this expanded enforcement tactics that you've been given. Again, is that just talking points from the other side, or do you believe that that's real?
No, the other side, basically, they're telling the truth. They're when they raid a place, a house, let's say an apartment complex, looking for let's say a murderer, illegal murderer, and they're there with other illegals, they have to remove them because even though these other illegals are not committing any crimes, they're there and they're not supposed to be here illegally. And there's no country in the world that I've ever been in or know of where you can just go in without papers and nobody does nothing to you. They leave you alone. My own mother was basically deported from Mexico to the U.S. because she was living in Mexico, and they found out about it. They reported her, and she was, deported back to the United States, picked up and deported. So, no country, Shawn, no country will let anybody just go in the way we do and expect them to stay there illegally forever. So
I thought you're of Mexican descent.
Well, that's what I'm saying. My mother was born in the U.S. of Mexican descent. She was born in the U.S. and she went to live in Mexico. And somebody reported her when she was living in Mexico, and she got deported from Mexico and brought to the border at the U.S. border and said, "You're deported. Get out of here."
Wow. Wow.
So I know that for a fact. I mean, that happened to my own mother. So what I'm saying is, there's no country that I know of where you can just go in there and live and work and do what you want to do there, and with not nobody bothering you. All countries have, deportation laws, and all countries have laws that prohibit you from staying there and buying property and working there forever.